in the tradition of referees swallowing the whistle in Golden Point for penalties, it surprised me that he gave something that was possible. You could probably interpret it both ways. That's the way that I thought about it. You tend to get away with those kind of things in Golden Point. Whether that's right or wrong is a different argument, but you do tend to get away with them. And it's so anticlimactic when you see a penalty goal to win a game. It just is. So, but I suppose if he saw it that way, then he's right to give it. But it does leave a slightly bad taste in the mouth, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I think, let's not throw shade at a whole refereeing performance on one decision, but very rarely do we talk about a refereeing decision that people might think decided a match and come to the conclusion that it did decide the match. But obviously in this instance, it definitely did decide the match. Reece Martin wasn't going to miss from 20 metres out and 2 metres to the side of the post. I think to make that decision in that kind of a moment in a match, you have to be 100% sure that it's the right call and that there's no get out to go another way with it. And on this occasion, I can't see how he was 100% sure it was the right call, even though Robert Hicks is often very confident in his own conviction when he's making his decision, which is how referees should be. They know the rules better than the players and the fans, but they don't always get it right. And yeah, I didn't see the ball carrying arm hit the floor, even though Robert Hicks was so, insistent that it had hit the floor. I think he called held just kind of as it was happening. I think he could have done that old thing that they managed to do. So say it was an offload, he would have taken it back to the play of the ball because he would have said it was on the held call. I think he could have done the same. And that would have given Leeds the chance to have a drop goal. No one would have felt like hard done to, one way or the other probably, and that if that was the way he went with it. If he'd have said, I was calling held, so it, go back to the play of the ball.
Yeah, and you do tend to see that, don't you, more often than not. But we have seen Hicks, as you say, being very confident in his decision-making, and not always necessarily taking advantage of the opportunities that he has to check these things. Not that he could on this occasion, I admit, but yeah, it kind of takes away from the game, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it was a great and exciting game, like Matt said. I think it was an exciting game because it wasn't great. And I think sometimes there is a beauty to a scrappy match between two sides who are playing... we're not necessarily playing poorly. Leeds have been playing terribly. Wakefield have been really, failing to perform in the key moments at either end of the pitch. And that in itself builds a narrative and a tension that this game had in spades. It didn't have a lot of quality, but it did have a lot of drama.
Yeah, what is it they say? It's a game for the purist. Yeah, I have to admit, I didn't find it particularly great and exciting either. It felt like two teams low on confidence.
I always felt, though, that when Gale kicked his drop goal with 5 minutes left, I always felt that Wakefield were going to have a chance to either level it up or win it, because I thought Wakefield were, on large, the better team in this game. But for one, really good run by Conrad Hurrell and great play by Mikulecki to set him free as well in the overtime period, and also, one fluid-looking piece of play from the Leeds Rhinos that resulted in a Conrad Hurrell try, although I do think there were several forward passes in the movement back up the field that allowed, on the other side of the pitch actually, that allowed it to get to the point of Hurrell scoring, but Leeds took advantage of they played to the whistle, and it was the only real piece of good attacking play that they put on in the whole game, the Rhinos, for that try that gave them that lead sort of just after half time.
I have to agree with that. I think I've got to note that the Leeds' attacking shape was appalling all day. It was like they'd never played together.
You
They
really
didn't
thought it'd
seem
be better with
particularly
Gale
organised.
back, and it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. It was very, very poor. And it felt like there was a lot of passing the ball to a guy standing still and relying on individuals to make exceptional plays. And Leeds aren't playing well enough for that to happen at the moment.
That's right, yeah. One note, though, the Luke Briscoe no try, that was almost incredible. Almost incredible. But that's where Leeds are at the moment. They don't have a high consistency of high performers doing spectacular stuff. They have moments where they get away with it rather than actually deliver it.
And it does feel like it felt like all the best things that I saw were from squad fringe players or young players at Leeds. I didn't see Gale doing particularly well. Do you know what I mean? Or players of his kind of ilk. It felt like it was the youngsters who were making the half breaks and stuff.
It was O'Connor and Gannon, weren't it? Were probably their most impressive players on the day.
So yeah, I mean, I've got to say, from Wakey, they had no go forward. They didn't have any field position in the first half. They made more errors. They gave away more repeat sets than Leeds did in the first half. But yeah, they were still in front at half time. That just tells you something about Leeds at the moment.
Yeah,
they had all the possession, all the field position to do something in the first half, and they couldn't put a move together. Never mind do anything decent with it, really.
No, whereas Wakefield actually did put on a really good passing move for the Liam Kay try that opened the scoring. And, got a little bit of luck for the Leno try, but basically they scored 2 tries on 2 attacks, and they were around the 20-minute mark, weren't they? So they hadn't had any part of the game, really, up until that, or really that much. After that, a couple of players that really impressed me for Wakefield. Joe Westerman got man of the match, didn't he? I thought he was really, really good. Reece Lynn showed really good, I think, commitment and leadership in this game. The amount of sort of tough carries that a forward should have been taking, that he was taking in the second half, knowing that they were kind of down a couple of bench players with the injuries that they picked up. Fafita went off, didn't he, with an injury. Jordan Crowther didn't last very long into the game either, did he? They had to replace him at hooker, and Josh Eves couldn't play 70 minutes. His, best will in the world to that kid is not James Roby's heir apparent at St Helens in any shape from what I've seen. But he couldn't do the 80-minute job or the 70-minute job he needed to do. But Wakefield still somehow found a way and to look a bit of a better team, but they're just not quite good enough for all Joe Westerman's efforts.
Yeah, it's just not working for them, is it? And yeah, there is obviously a lot of pressure on Chester, you would say.
Do you think some of it's a little unfair? Like, finishing ahead of bottom surely is about right for a team that doesn't spend as much money as other sides and doesn't have as much depth as other sides.
Finishing 11th would be a success. Yeah, unfortunately.
I don't think Chris Chester would still be in a job though if they finish 11th. I think he'll have lost his job before that point because they'll think we have to change something.
Yeah, and I don't think they just don't seem to be.
When did they play?
What they need to do with, I'm going to say, when did they play league? And that's confidence boosting win like Huddersfield had. I think, what they need is to leak a story to the papers, and they might pick up or something. I don't know.
They play Lee on the 6th of June.
Well, that's not a million miles away, is it?
No. Somehow that's a round 13 clash, which is weird.
Don't know. Pass.
They must have brought it forward because that's the Challenge Cup semi-final weekend.
Right, okay. To give themselves a bit more flexibility later on, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, that could. Well, that's a 4-pointer if I've ever seen one. Because they found a way to lose this one, even though they didn't really deserve to win it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're a team very low on confidence, even though they're when they get it right, as you say, for the K try, it was a good try. It was, movement was great.
Well, they've got 3 home games in front of fans now. Any sort of 3,000 or 4,000 is about as many fans as they've been getting in recent times. So, it's practically all their most vociferous support base will be there for these 3 games. Home to Hull KR, home to Huddersfield, and home to Lee in the next 3 weeks.
3 big games, those. Yeah, definitely.
Massive.
Yep.
Okay.
I would agree.
Let's move on to a game we know less about, Alan.
Yes, we do, unfortunately. So, happening on Monday, it was Castleford against Hull KR. It finished KR 26, Castleford 22. Castleford 2012 up at half-time, and Marcus Griffiths was the man in charge. Do we have stats from this one?
We do, yes. And the stats suggest Rovers should have won by more, because other than penalties, which were 11-4 against them, according to the Super League website stats. Now, if that's the true count, that is horrific. But they scored 5 tries for 3 from 8 breaks to 3. With over 300 more metres, 1.4 metre per carry better average game, plus a 4.2% better team tackle success rate, and 4 fewer errors made. Rovers were the better side in this match by more than 4 points, those stats would tell you. Individually, Sean Kenny Dowell, to borrow a nickname, 2 dads, had a try assist, 6 tackle plus 148 metres and 4 successful offloads for him. Matt Parcell delivered with a try, 5 tackle plus and 191 metres. Ryan Hall's Melonhead got a try and 182 metres, 3 clean breaks. And Ben Crooks, against his former side, punished them with 2 tries, 1 a very spectacular diving finish, 100 metres and 2 clean breaks. For Cass, only James Clare with a try and 119 metres on his return to the side, and Niall Levels with 3 try assists did anything to tickle our favour stats-wise.
So in terms of fan views, Fat Boy Rob says Cass dominated the first 10 and Rovers dominated the last 70. They dominated up front. I don't think we got in their 20 for the entire second half. Not to worry, the result wasn't important. Honest, the fans are back in. Hashtag Coy.
Yeah, and I did see quite a lot of photos from fans across Twitter at this game. It did look great for them to be back. Tom Andrews, another one who was there, said, from facing the potential of possibly having to wear a Cass hat just to get in, to snagging the 2 points away from home. Knees hurt, back hurts, cold fucking great to be back. What? Anyway, he's happy.
He's happy. He's an happy boy.
Yeah.
And Fat, P-H-A-T, boy, B-O-I, should I say, Rob. He obviously didn't have a straight way of spelling Rob other than double B. Never in doubt.
The version of Fat Boy Rob that Tony Clubb doesn't like.
Never in doubt. Operation #Pistol League running at 100%. Wait, what? Those scores weren't a typo.
What do you know about this one then, other than that wonderful photograph of Ben Crooks' diving finish?
Not a lot. The ground, I've got to say, the ground looked full. It looked more than 4,000 people just from looking around. I'm not saying it was, but my God, it looked quite busy for the jungle. Yeah, how did Tom get in anyway?
Apparently there was 3,600 inside, which is amazing. I don't quite understand how, but tickets managed to go on general sale, and Hull KR fans managed to snap them up ahead of Castleford fans. Is my understanding. That's as much as I know. Yeah,
it looked like more than 4,000, but anyway. I don't really have a lot to say about it, other than early on, Cass's left edge looked good, as it normally does. James Clare getting the try that the left winger usually gets. But yeah,
Shenton as well got one, didn't he?
Shenton got his try, and which I'm guessing is where the try assists come from Evolds. But yeah, as you say, KR look far from the worst team in the league at the moment. They're hanging around and they're giving teams trouble that certainly Tim didn't think they'd be doing at this time of the year. So yeah, looked full value for winning this one, I would say.
They took a few penalties, I think, to get to to get to the position they were in the game, which maybe they might look